Money Monday, you guys. Hey, we are on our way down to Houston, Texas right now. Just came through Childress. We're about 9 miles outside of Quanah right now, and we still got a long freaking ways to go before we get anywhere close to Houston. Texas is a big place. If you guys have never been through Texas, it'll take you a couple days to get from the top to the bottom. But, guys, maybe not quite a couple of days. It's just a long ways across. But yeah, so guys, one thing I want to talk to you about today, Money Monday, we're going to talk about getting uncomfortable, about being uncomfortable, about going into different situations. All right, when I first started in the welding, or even being a helper, okay, I'd never been a helper before. It was freaking scary. I remember the first couple weeks, very uncomfortable. It was not that cool. I did not like being a welder helper. I hated it. It was just a very new thing that I didn't know how to do. But I was able to later on become comfortable with it and be able to start seeing other opportunities, which is the welding part of it, which is the whole reason anybody even goes out to go be a welder helper. But anyways, it was uncomfortable. It was not that fun to go out and be a welder helper. Fast forward that, then you go into going and taking your first test. Very uncomfortable, very much you don't sleep the first night. I mean, whew, it's a lot of stress. A lot of things riding on making that test. Because if you don't, you either got to go back and be a helper, or you got to go home with no money and go keep practicing until you figure it out. So then you get through your first test, and the uncomfortable situations just keep coming. I mean, they are endless. So once you make it through your first test, then you go sign all your paperwork, and then you're actually sent out onto the line or whatever you're doing, fabbing, whatever. That is a lot of, I was uncomfortable actually welding and being paid to weld for about 1.5 years. I didn't feel like I could actually do it very well, which I could for sure. My first 6 months, I was not a good welder for sure. And I still am learning, still am picking up tips from people and things like that. But guys, you are uncomfortable for a long time, and then you'll start to get comfortable, and then you'll catch a repair, and the uncomfortable comes back because you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck did I even do? You know, because it just becomes repetitive, and everything's repetitive. Well, then you can either choose to stay there and be a welder for the rest of your life, which is great. There's nothing wrong with being a welder, okay? Being a welder it's a skill set very few people ever will ever obtain, all right? So it's an amazing thing to know how to do. But in this situation, we started YouTube, all right? It was kind of uncomfortable. It was not that fun to do because it was like, I'm sitting here talking to a camera trying to explain situations that have happened to me throughout my life to try to help you guys avoid them, or to see the opportunity and grab it, or whatever, you know. But most of it is things that I've already been through. And so I'm trying to create a channel that helps you guys get to where you want to be. There was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of other welders saying that I was giving out too much information and blah, 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 you know. A lot of uncomfortable. But now I'm very comfortable with building YouTube channels and building videos and putting out things like that. Got comfortable. So then I started going into speaking to colleges. Got asked to speak to my first college, which was Dodge City Community College, their welding program. Justin's the main instructor down there. Got asked to go down there and do that. That was very uncomfortable for me, but I committed to it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Guys, what I'm getting ready to say is you have to grab uncomfortable situations. You're never going to be able to grow. You're never going to be able to achieve anything of worth if you are not uncomfortable at some point in your life, okay? The more uncomfortable you can be, the farther in life you're going to go. So right now, we're headed down to Houston, Texas, all right? I'm paying for this trip. It is uncomfortable to my pocketbook on how much I'm paying for this, but it is something that is worth going and doing. Okay, I get to collaborate with some of the best YouTubers. I get to collaborate with up-and-coming welders, and I get to have a meet and greet that Liza put on, and I get to meet welders. I get to meet past welders that are probably retired, and they have great information on things to look for and whatnot. Guys, it's so worth being uncomfortable. But I guess what I'm trying to say is if you are not uncomfortable, you're not growing. All right, and that's just the big, plain and simple of it. Become uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable you are, the bigger you're growing, the faster you're growing, and the faster things are going to move for you. If you're a welder helper, start freaking getting uncomfortable and start spending the money it's going to take to get a rig truck together. You don't need to go eat steak every night if you're a welder helper. Go and freaking get your tools where you need to be so that you can go out and go be a welder. All right? So anyways, you guys, everybody have a great rest of your Monday. Be blessed. We're on our way to Houston. Hopefully you guys are down there, and we'll see you down there. So everybody have a great rest of your day. See ya.